Welcome back to my channel. My name's Rebecca, I'm 30 and I live in Newcastle and you are reporting for Beauty Duty. So a little bit more casual today. I have my glasses on because honestly it's nearly midnight. Took me quite a while to organise all of this and I just got distracted and I had a big nap during the day, so I'm still pretty awake. Yeah, so I've just done a little quick look. So let's go. I've just put my hoodie on over my pyjamas as well because honestly it is so cold here. Just wanted to film this little bit of ad lib because I'm filming this right at the end of my video, knowing that I've filmed for probably about an hour of just a makeup collection. I just want to add in that I'm aware that this is a lot of makeup. I'm not one to buy clothes, shoes and things like that. This is my main hobby. I don't often go out and drink and stuff like that. So I'm aware that this is very, very excessive. However, I love my collection. I do frequently go through and declutter. And if you think this is a lot, just wait until I get to eyeshadows and lipsticks. So if you have something, if you want to criticise, please wait until I get to that because this is nothing. Anyway, into the video. So in a follow-on from my foundation collection, we're now going into powders, bronzers, etc, etc. So I'm going to start off with face powders because I think it's quite a good lead on from foundations, and I don't actually have loads and loads of those because honestly I go through them and often will go to try something new and just like that, so I don't repurchase quite that often, if that makes sense. So I'll get started with my Charlotte Tilbury because again what I'll say is I do work for them, I'm a retail artist. So I have my Airbrush Flawless in shade 2. See that that's used. Now because it's in the shade 2 it's a little bit dark for under eye, but I love it for the rest of my face. I will say that this is you know, very popular on social media and for a good reason. It's more of a finishing powder than the setting powder for me, but what I will say is if you have dry skin, this is a great option for you, 100%, as well as if you do have your oily skin as well, because I find that this does set my foundation down. And what I find is great is I can do like everything, all powders, everything, then put this on at the end, and it doesn't like decrease, like take down my highlighter too much or anything like that. Or if I am using this, because I have shade 1 in my kit, just under eye and in here and on my chin and stuff for people, it just looks great even if I'm not setting the rest of the face. I also have, which I think is underrated, is the Airbrush Brightening Flawless Finish. So this came out this year and that's what this looks like. I do not use this to set my whole face. I use this to brighten my under eye, and that is what it's designed for. What I do is I do everything and then at the end I'll brighten like my under eye. When this first came out I was a bit like, I'm not convinced, but now that I've been using it and using it how it's meant to, I actually really like this. So you can see my under eyes look lovely and bright. I just have this in the inner corner and down the centre of my nose just to brighten things up. Next thing I have is the Bare Minerals Original Mineral Veil. This is the pressed one, and that's what it looks like there. Quite a similar concept to the Charlotte Tilbury, but what I will say is I don't think this is as finely milled. I don't know how well you can see that this is almost a little bit gritty. Yeah, I don't think it's as finely milled. I don't think this is as smoothing. So it's just not for me. I keep it in my collection just for reference, and if I do run out of something and have no other option. And then one of the newest things to my collection, and I've really been loving this, is the Huda Beauty Cherry Blossom Easy Bake. So this is the one that is pink, and I wasn't sure on my skin tone, but this makes my under eye look so nice and bright without it being too stark. Because I'm neutral leaning a bit pink, I know it doesn't look like it on camera, this is just so nice and well worth the hype. The smell to me is absolutely, I really don't like it. I really don't like the smell, but I love the powder, and actually I think I might buy it in another shade as well. Next up I have my Laura Mercier Translucent But in Honey. So again, I can't use this under eye, but I use this on my face. She's an OG, she's a classic. I've had the translucent one twice and gone through it. you know, actually I have the translucent one somewhere. I think it's in my kit. I do like it. It's great. I'll use it. It's just not my favourite anymore. I find it that little bit cakey. And then another one that I've been newer to my collection but I've been using loads is the HNB Cosmetics Soft Focus Powder, and I have this in 02 translucent. This is a really great, more affordable option, like more mid-range affordable. I would say that it is blurring, it's really nice. I would say, would I repurchase the Laura Mercier translucent? No, because this is just as good, if not better. So yeah. Okay, and then on to a couple of other bits. This is discontinued, so I won't go on about it too much. This is the Bare Minerals in Pure Radiance. So this is, I don't really know what this was meant to be. So that's what it looks like inside. So I used this as like a glowy, I'm not sure if you can see, finishing powder. Similar concept, I think, to like Hourglass Ambient Lighting, but that a little bit more glowy, where it's not sparkly and gives loads of glow on the skin. I've almost finished this and it's discontinued, and I can't get a new one, so I'm very careful with it. One thing that I love that for is if I think, oh, you're looking a little bit too matte, I will go in and it'll really glow things up. A good replacement for that is, this hasn't come out to replace it, but in my collection, replacement within my collection is the Bare Minerals Illuminating Mineral Veil. Some of my stuff looks dirty because honestly I use it, I travel with it, I use it. My collection is very well used. Again, this is like a finishing powder, not a setting powder, and that's what it looks like. And then I have this on top after I've done all my setting and everything today, because I thought, oh, you look a little matte. So I wanted to add that little bit of glow back to my face. Two things I haven't really tried are two minis of the Hourglass. So I have Hourglass Transluting Setting Powder, Hourglass Veil Transluting Setting Powder, and that's this here. So less shimmery than the Mineral Veil, but still has a little bit of glow to it. I used this once and I actually did really love it, but I'll kind of try it with different concealers and foundations and see how I get on. And then I have a mini ambient lighting powder in Dim Light. And that's what that one looks like there. So it's a little bit more of a nude. And I, again, really, really like this. It gives a nice soft focus. But again, I've only used it once, so I don't really want to give it a review or recommend something that I've not used. What I will tell you, one of my favourites I've used up, I'm like really proud of myself for using it up, is the Fenty powder. I had that in a translucent one. Really loved that. It was a favourite for a couple of years. Setting powders last me a really long time, even though I'm like oily skinned and do need to set things. And I really loved that. I went through it. Same with Coty Airspun. Used it, went through it. With the Coty Airspun, I won't repurchase because it's just not in my preference anymore. Similar to the Laura Mercier, I think it's a little bit like cakey looking. What I do want to get now is the new Laura Mercier powder. I will say that that's a little bit more of the blurring, and I've heard from some of my friends that it is really, really nice. Wow, this is actually a lot. So I have in here, from what I could find, I know I actually have more than this, but couldn't really be that bothered to go through everything. But this is what I have at hand and use frequently. When I say frequently, once a month, because I have, you will see, I have quite a large collection. I'm not decluttering any of these. I like them. I use them for different content. It is what it is, or just because I like them and use them. So I'm just trying to get into a good position for this. Okay, so let's go through face palettes first. First up, I have the Natasha Denona Bronze Cheek Face and Glow palette. That's what it looks like on the outside and in here. So I've not used this enough, to be honest. So I did swatch it and think that is a very shimmery bronzer, and these are quite light. So we'll see. It's quite old, so I can't sell it, so it would be throwing it out, and honestly that would make me feel sick. Next up I have Ofra Feeling Myself highlighter palette, and that's what it looks like in there. This thing is old. Old packaging, but if you know anything about Ofra highlighters, they are so blinding. I'm not going to go through and necessarily swatch everything, but they are just really, really nice because they're powders. I just feel like I can get away with keeping it for a bit longer, so it will stay in my collection. Another thing that I think was quite underrated, but I really have liked it, and I travel with this. I wish the packaging was a little bit slimmer, but we can't have it all. It's the Too Faced Turn Up the Light, and I have this in medium. And that's what it looks like in there. So it has a glow, a soft focus, and a dazzle. So dazzle's got a bit of glitter in. I don't love the dazzle. This I can actually use the soft focus as a finishing powder that gives a bit of a glow. So that's one of the reasons why I like to travel with this. And the glow is just a lovely champagne highlighter. So it does work pretty well for me. Next, I have the Danessa Myricks Beauty Dewy Cheek and Lip Palette, and that's what it looks like in there. Newer to my collection, but you can see it's used. I do have a little bit of this on today. I love to mix these two together and mix these two together. Also really like it on the lip, so I love it. Next up, I have the Becca and collaboration with Khloe Kardashian and Malika. Oh, she is looking dirty. Very well loved, travelled with, enjoyed, love her. And that's what it looks like in there. Because they're so chunky and baked, you can't see that I have actually used this quite a lot. Again, it's really old, but the bronze is a good colour for me. The blushes are great colours, and so is the highlighter. So despite it being old, I will hang on to it. I actually got that from TK Maxx for like 20 quid. So yeah. And then another thing I've got on, and I have this on today because my bronzers are all boxed in a different box for this video. This is the Be Perfect. So there is another half to this, but I couldn't find it. Shapeshifter palette, and that's what it looks like in there. I tend to go into these three bronzers and just sort of thing. Again, I can travel with this because I like them to do them. I've used them as my eyeshadow base before I put my shimmers on and stuff like that. So I do find that they have, you know, they're very flexible. One of my most beloved products, and I actually mostly lives in my kit these days because I like a cream blusher better. This is one of my favourite powder blushes. So it is the Luna Beauty Moon Prism Blush Palette. The packaging 10 out of 10. If you know me, you know I love pink and purple, and that's what it looks like on the inside. Again, absolutely fantastic to travel with. Well worth it. I can use this as a bronzer, can do an eye with this even. I do have a video as well on this. Next, I have the Nikia Joy Illuminate Luxury Highlighting Palette, and that's what it looks like in there. Again, this mostly lives in my kits because I do like cream products quite a lot these days, but blinding, good variety, love it. I do have a powdered Danessa Myricks, but it's at my mum's because I have a little bit of makeup at my mum's, just so that if I want to stay overnight and stuff like that. Next up, I've got the Be Perfect Storm palette, and that's what that looks like in there. This is great for oh, it's got a bit of a nick out of it. Great for when I'm fake tanned. Not my favourite by any means. This is a very, very red blush, but I can use it. I might put it in my kit. And then I've got the Natasha Denona Love. This is more of a duo than a palette, but this is from the Love collection. I don't use this enough. Oh, that feels dry. Oh, that doesn't feel good. I'll see if I can resurrect that, but really like it. Don't use it enough. And then this is another thing that I think has been like reformulated and repackaged, and this is the Jaclyn Hill The Flash. I bought this in lockdown when loads of my friends and people that I know bought it because it was on the Morphe site for like a great discount. This is is it the lighter? Yeah, it's the lightest. It runs that little bit light for me. They are really blinding highlights, but they do leave a little bit of a cast, but it's super stunning. Then my two most used. So I actually have hit pan on this, which is quite unknown for me. And this is my Charlotte Tilbury Nudegasm Face Palette. So I've hit pan on this. These are absolutely perfect contours for me. I just go between the two and pop them on. And I love the highlight and blush. I just go between and pop them on. This palette is absolutely stunning, perfect. I got it as a present for Secret Santa last year for one of my colleagues and friends. and I love it. I love the packaging. I travel with this. I use it for makeup every day when I go to work, and every time I do my makeup I nearly always use this because I just know it works. It's underrated actually. It's obviously not cheap. And then this came out this year and we got this, just to be transparent, this was gratis. I got this when I went down to the Charlotte Tilbury conference. And this is the Pillow Talk Beautifying Face Palette. This is the medium deep one. And that's what it looks like in there. This is more of a baked formula, so slightly different from the Nudegasm. So I think it's a little bit of a softer focus, but the cheek colours are really lovely. The highlights are really lovely. I can sort of go between it all and dust it on. This does kind of go in and out of my kit. Obviously I sanitize it because it's just really, really easy to use. And the pink is like very well liked. And I go between the two of them. Although it looks quite dark, they're definitely more, they are buildable. So yeah. Okay, next. So I'll go through my cream highlighters first. So I have a Be Perfect Get Wet highlighter, and this is in collaboration with Stacey Marie. Oh, it's like a putty kind of texture. And I really love it. I use it when I do more pinky looks and I want it to look really lovely. It's also lovely on the eye. This is what I've got on today and I use this quite a lot. It's the Refi. Again, I can do this really subtle or I can build it up. I just love, love, love cream products. This travels with me. I really like it. It's big. So although I've used this a lot, I've still got loads of it. Then I have the Amrezy collaboration with Pretty Little Thing. Nah, don't buy this. I didn't know something liquid could feel so dry. That's all I'll say. And then I've got the a Beauty Light one in Goldgasm. So although this looks like it's going to be quite dark, it's, if you use it properly and don't use too much, it's really, really nice. So I have a Nabla highlighter in Crown, just kind of standard, you know, champagne highlighter. Really like it. I have the Kimchi Cheek in Pearls Gone Wild. Pearl Gone Wild in number 1 Hope. That's what it looks like. So this has got, I need to, this is hard panned a little. I need to give it a clean duochrome. 2 Bare Minerals. This is discontinued, one of them. That's in the shade Zen, like a pinky champagne-y. And then I've got it in the shade Joy, which is lovely. And more, this probably should have been more in my blush, but it's a lovely peachy highlighter. Next I have Anastasia Beverly Hills Iced Out. I'm not that bothered by this. The formula is really strange. It's not the same as the collaboration with the Amrezy. And it's quite pale, but I like it for cool tones. This is so old, I should probably get rid of it. This is the Laura Mercier in Indiscretion, but it's one of my first high-end. Oh, and it's so nice. It, like, because it's more nude, it melts into my skin. One of my first high-end products, so I do hang on to it. Next up I have an Odin's Eye. This is newer to my collection. I think I've only used it once maybe. And that's got a beautiful, like, stunning duochrome-y. It's like a pink to goldy, just unreal. Looks really nice. Next, one of my most used is the Revlon Skin Lights. You can't easily get this in the UK anymore, but I'm really gutted. Really like it. I'm so close to hitting pan. I think I might do a project pan in 2023, and this will go into it for sure. Next up I have a Kaleidos in Space Age, which is G04 Mars Melter. This has been repressed because it arrived to me broken. And again, it's a lovely, like, peach to pink duochrome highlighter. Stunning. And then I have a Doll Beauty in Pretty Little Glow. Again, I think it's a bit pale for me, so maybe I should let it go, but it's a lovely, like, champagne to pink. Another Charlotte Tilbury, and this is the Pillow Talk Multi Glow. Again, it has the same packaging, similar packaging as the Nudegasm and the Pillow Talk palette that I've just shown. And this was in Romance Light, which is the lighter. I just tend to brush through it all and pop it on. A little light for me. I do wish I got the darker one, but definitely usable. And then I have Ofra Blissful. It's one of the ones I've already swatched. It's a mini. I do have a full size. I'm not sure what colour this is. They're not the same, but that's that one there. Ofra does beautiful highlighters. And then I have, and this I know is panned, and really old, really old. But again, one of my first like high end. I went to the counter in Leeds. Yeah, and I really love it. And this is the Fenty Kilowatt in Girl Next Door and Chic Freak. That's what it looks like. You can see, obviously, I've got really good pan on this. I love it, so I'm not getting rid of it. And then this is one of my favourites of last year. I've not used it as much this year, but this is my Estee Lauder Bronze Goddess. Still has that beautiful Bronze Goddess scent. If you like the perfume, you like this. Blinding, 10 out of 10, melts into the skin, no glitter. And then I have the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Superstar Glow Highlighter. This was the limited edition one last year. And that's what it looks like there. I don't use this much for work because it is limited edition. And then last one, I have a Jaclyn Hill Loose in Bomb. Again, these have been repackaged. This is the most blinding highlighter that I own. That is probably enough to do both of my cheeks. But it's stunning. Right. Next up, I have in a Charlotte Tilbury box. I have blushes. Let's go to liquid, then to cream. Okay, so liquid. I have 3 Beauty Light ones. I won't go on about these too much. These are absolute favourites in my collection. I've got Peachgasm, Pinkgasm, and Pillow Talk medium. They're worth the hype. Say what you want to say. I love them. I'm actually just going to put these back. Put them back in their home, which is right in front of me, because obviously I have my makeup set up to do my makeup for work. I have 2 She Glam, and these are in Birthday Suit and Devoted. It's unlikely that I will repurchase from She Glam again. Yeah. And that's the sort of colours I've got. But I do really like them. I don't know if that's the wind or my husband snoring so loud. But I really like these. It's such a shame that they've came from a bit of a crappy brand. And this is lovely, like nudie bronze. A Cash Beauty Skin Glaze, and this is in Rose Quartz. I haven't used this enough. I've used it once, so I can't quite give my opinion. Then I have a Claudia Kilsby in Rouge Behaviour. I've only used once, so I don't want to give it a review. What I've got loads of, that's not in this box, is I've got quite a lot of blushes by Made by Mitchell. I'm not going to go through all of them, but my favourites are Papaya Pudding and Toasted Terracotta. So I just love them so much, kind of peachy, warm. I can do that, go through all of my blushes in a separate video. I think that would be easier because I've got blush lights and stuff like that. But yeah, I really like the formula and actually find it really easy to work with. My favourite blush brush for cream products is the Peaches and Cream PC08. So I pop it on and then or put it on the back of my hand and do like this, and it is absolutely perfect for that. I highly, highly recommend. It's changed my cream blush game exponentially. Okay, now my probably most used after my Charlotte Tilbury in terms of cream is my Pink Honey Blush Bible. I'm not that bothered about the highlighty side, which is this side really, but the side that I really, really love is this one, and I use it a lot. And that is in the shade Blush Chapter, is it 1 or 4? Cream Blush Chapter 1. and cream powder 2. So that's cream 1. Yeah, and I really love it. Highly recommend. Super pigmented, lovely like dolly pink on my skin. And I never used to be that bothered about a pink blush, but that with Pinkgasm on top, wow, 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 wow. Love, love, love. Okay, so since I talked about the Amrezy in the highlighter, again, I hate this. I thought I'd love it. I love the colour. And it could be so nice, but it just doesn't give what I want it to give. It lifts anything that's underneath it, has a kind of Vaseline texture. It feels so cheap. I've felt more expensive things in Primark. And then I also really love, and I use this a lot during the summer, it's my Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is in the shade Peach Caramel. It gives me that lovely sunburnt-y look. I'm trying to get that. It's got 2 lids on it. It gives me a lovely sunburnt-y bronzy look. And that's the colour there. As much as I can, some of them are going back in their homes. Actually, let me open my drawer and put things away as I do this. And then I have a P. Louise Crisp finish, and this is in the shade Smoking Hot. This is like a orangey terracotta shade, so it's, you know, it's a eye base technically, but I love it as more of a cream blush. A tiny, tiny bit of it goes a long way, and it's almost kind of a bit of a mustardy shade. So it looks lovely kind of with the kind of makeup and lip that I have on at the moment. Actually, I've Toasted Terracotta on as my lip, the one of the Mitchell ones that I was showing. Yeah, just really, really like that. And then one that I've gone through too, this is my third, and if you've watched me for a while, you know I absolutely love, love, love this. This is the Bare Minerals in Blurred Buff. Before, I never used to wear blush that often, and then I got into blush, but this is what started it off. This is a cream to powder, beautiful nude, goes with every look, everything, even nice tapped on the eye. Cannot recommend this enough. I also have the same formula. These are Bounce and Blows, by the way. I even have the same formula in a corally peachy shade. I'm almost through to hitting pan on this. This is my first one of these. And then I've got a Cash Beauty, another Cash Beauty blush, like cream blush stick. This is in Burnt Cherry. You can see where I put it on my face and it's got foundation on it. Love this colour. Again, gives me that lovely kind of sunburnty look that's been really in, and I really like it. I can do it really subtly or really build it up. Also lovely on the lip. I've also got an MUA cream brush. This is in Rouge Noir. It's like I'm not going to open everything. That colour that it shows is probably pretty accurate. Tiny little bit of this goes a really long way, and it is lovely. I've got more Colourpop than this, but you know, I couldn't hunt everything down. I have Colourpop Georgette Super Shock Cheek, and it's a satin, and it's like a peachy reddy colour, like a coral. That's what I'm looking for. And then I've got a Brute Flute, it's called. Super Shock Chic, which is a pearlized, and it's a winey sort of colour. Love it. And then last but not least, in my creams, I have a MAC, which is called Improper Copper cream colour base. So it's multi-use for the eyes, face, whatever, but I mostly use it for the face, and it has a lovely sheen to it. I've just realised I do have a NARS. I just realised I have a NARS in Torrid, but it's in my kit at the moment in a liquid blush. I like it, but it's not my favourite. Yeah, and I can't be bothered to get it. Sorry. Okay, some powder blushes. Let's go Charlotte Tilbury first. I have one in the shade The Climax. I just had this sent to me, so I haven't actually used it on myself, but I've used it on customers before. Let me try and open this. They all have a bit of a satin to them, and this is just a lovely nudie glow colour, and I will use a lot of that. The one that I use the most is Ecstasy, which is like a peachy pink, Love it. And this is probably the one that I personally sell the most, this or the original Pillow Talk. But I love this because it's peachy pink, goes with a lot of looks. And if someone's a blush wearer but not a bronzer wearer, those two are quite good options. And then I also do wear this quite a lot, and this is in Pillow Talk Intense. The original Pillow Talk's a little light for me, so I like the Intense. Look, I'll try to open these one-handed. And that's what it looks like there. Love this. See, it looks like I haven't used them that much, so they do last for ages, but I've used these a lot. Considering I work on counter, I've used Ecstasy and Pillow Talk Intense a lot. Okay. Colour FX Monochromatic Blush Duo in Matte and Shimmer, and this is in Spiced Cinnamon. I'll just put my nail in that. And it's a lovely, spicy, warm tones. One side shimmer, one side's matte. Really like this actually. I need to get this out and use it more. And when I do kind of more reddy, orangey looks, this is kind of a perfect fit to go with those. I got that in a beauty outlet actually for about £8, so that's been a really good option. Then have Buxom Wanderlust, and this is in the colour Ibiza. I'm trying to get through this, you can tell. Lovely, like mauvey pink shade. Sorry, I've got a bit of the shakes. Another one that is really well used in my collection that I do use quite often is the MAC Mineralized in the colour Lovejoy. Because you know me, I love a nudie blush. I love this so much. These mineralized blushes are a classic for a reason. Just lovely, warm, burnt, like looking. I love that kind of thing. Okay, I do have more than one of these and I couldn't find them. My collection's all over the place. This is my Be Perfect Scorched Heat. Again, another burnt orangey one. My favourite super orange if I want to do a really orangey look. I fucking hate this packaging. No matter what I do, it looks dirty. But I do love NARS a lot. A lot. This is another one that opening one-handed is very difficult. This is not for the faint-hearted, as you can tell. But I use it loads and it is buildable. I almost want to demo this because it even has its own blush brush. See, just so warm. I love this. Okay, I have NARS Orgasm. If you don't know what this looks like, and I'm going to open it anyway, but pinky to gold. I don't use that enough. I think this is a discontinued colour. I have a Bare Minerals Gen Nude Powder Blush in Beige for Days. It's like the powder sister of my Blurred Buff. If you're really pale, this would be a great bronzer for you. I then have Nabla Skin Glazing in the shade Truth. I used to really be, was when I first got into blushes, into more peachy and neutral. So you can tell that's why the most of my collection is super peachy. I don't know if this is like a blush or meant to be like a highlighter, but this is a blush on me. Okay. Another ultimate OG in my collection is a Milani Luminoso. Just for fun. And then I have a Oden's Eye Sunlit Love Blusher, and this is in the shade Sienna Luster. Again, you know I love my warm colours. Beautiful shimmery orange. Love it. And then this is my favourite, and this is another Solomon Sunlight Love Blusher in Orange Sunny. Beautiful terracotta colour. Love this. Okay, my box is empty. I'm just going to have a little quick check that there's nothing else I need to add, and I also need to get my phone charger. So I'm just going to be right back because I'm pretty sure I have more blushes than this. Okay, I have returned, and I've returned with more blushes. So I've got my NARS one in Torrid here. That's what it looks like, the sort of colour. I do really like it. Maybe I need to use it more. And that's the colour there. Kind of a coral. If I could have bought Orgasm, I probably would have bought Orgasm because I want more pink in my collection. Did find 2 more palettes, but they are blush palettes, the ones that I did mention in the last portion. This is the other half of the Be Perfect Shapeshifter, and that's the blush and highlighter one. I really like those. And then this is really old, and it's the KVD. Still says Kat Von D, that's how old it is. Fetish blush palette. I got this as a present, and that's what it looks like there. But I got it from my now husband, then fiance, boyfriend, then boyfriend, now husband. But you can see I've hit pan. I really love these. They're very special formula of highlighters. I haven't come across something like this before, and I love the pink and things, so I won't get rid of it. And then I also have a Kiko Milano blush, and this is in the shade Ray of Love, and that's it there. The first time I used this, it was actually a lot more pigmented than I thought it was. Even when you swatch, like when you swatch it with your finger, but when you put it on the back of your hand, it's actually really pigmented. And I have another Colourpop Cruel Intention. This is a Colourpop Cruel Intentions Super Shock Cheek in, this is a matte. And I have another Charlotte Tilbury blush. I actually have to take this off its box because I've not even used it. And this is in the shade Love is the Drug. Love it. Because I didn't have anything super pink from them. So I have 4 powder blushes. Next up, is this the biggest bit? No, it's not the biggest. Bronzers! Yay! Let's preface this with, again, I know this is absolutely ridiculous. I'm like very well aware that this is ridiculous. I won't lie to you, I just have zero self-control. Let's go contours first, I think. Okay, so my most used is my Morphe contour stick, and this is in Effect 15. I've been using this for ages and it still has loads left. Well worth it. I've tried to repurchase this because honestly I've had this for ages and it smells like plasticine, but I like it. It's really nice formula. It's superb. And then I've got my Hollywood Contour Wand by Charlotte Tilbury, and I wear this in a fair to medium. I really like this. If you haven't been living under a rock on social media, you will have seen this. So I don't really think I need to like go on and on about it. I've got an iconic sheer bronze and caramel glow. This is definitely more of a contour shade for me. I've only used this once, and I'm definitely more into creams now than I was when I first got this. So I'm definitely going to get this out again. It is in the name that it's sheer, but I think because I am a bit more into that kind of, can be a little bit more into that no makeup look, I think it's definitely worth me pulling this out and having another try. The formula feels lovely. I just couldn't really remember trying it. Next, my second most used cream contour is the Armani A Contour. This is 21. That's what it looks like there. I have used it on my channel. In terms of how much is in it, this is expensive for what it is, but I do really like it, and it's amazing for lip contouring as well. And then I've got the LA Girl Pro Contour. I really like this. I don't use this often enough, but it's really nice and a great affordable option. Now this is marketed as a bronzer, but it's more cool toned and it's a little dark for me, so I use it more as a contour. This is the Cash Beauty in Island Vibes. That's what it looks like there. Trust me when I say this is cool toned on me. And then in terms of powder contour, apart from my Nudegasm, this is probably my second most used. There's a little Essence, so this is the darker skin one. And I kind of, even the dark is a little dark for me, so I tend to just go between the two of them. But I really love this. I got it from Wilko's. And then what else do I have contour wise? I think that's it. So I'm going to go into my cream bronzers. So my most used of all time, I've been through one and this is my second one, is my Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue. This is actually a foundation stick that I use in Chestnut 09. I love this because first, if it goes over some spots, it gives me coverage. It's just a beautiful warm colour, so creamy, so easy to use. Love it. The first one that I went through lasted me ages. So in terms of like value for money, I think these are like maybe between 29 and 31 to buy, but because of the weight of it that I get, does it even say? I'm not even sure. It's just so underrated. I've never really ever seen anyone else on social media using this as a cream bronzer. If you've been watching me for a while, you will all have seen me use this. Okay, and then I've got my Pink Honey BFF in Fudge Glaze. I really love this. This is well worth the hype. I won't go on and on about some of these because you will have seen me use it. I have another She Glam and this is in the shade Warm Honey. And this is very yellow. But if I am a bit fake tanned, this will probably be more of a cream contour for me. So I'm keeping it. I also like that on the lips. I've got another She Glam. Again, that I really like. It's a little dry, but the colour's good for me. This is in the shade, it's another Warm Honey, so they're meant to be the same shade. Another little affordable number is the LA Girl Velvet Bronzer Contour Stick. It's warm, so it's definitely more of a bronzer. I really like this. It's really cheap. Got it on Beauty Bay. Got another stick one, and this is the Be Perfect with Jacqueline Josser in the shade Mocha. I really like the formula on this, but what I will say is, and I'll show you the best that I can without ruining it, is that this is where it doesn't do it, is that it came out. So it's actually quite hard to use, so I have to put it on the back of my hand, then onto my face, which is not, when I'm trying to be quick, it's not my favourite thing to do, but I really like the formula of this. I do have the Be Perfect bronzers, but oh right, I've got mine one here. I was about to say I think it's in my kit, but mine's here, and this is in the shade Pecan. I really do like this. It is lovely, it's creamy. I just like the Pink Honey Slither more. I'm going to put this front and centre to use more because they actually do feel super similar, so I do need to give this more of a chance. I've just been so captivated by my Pink Honey. Okay, another cream. I have my Fenty. This is in the shade Honey Glaze. As you can see, I've used this loads. I've hit pan on it. I think one of the reasons why I used it so much is this is just very easy to use. Very easy to use. It's not my favourite, but it's just easy. Brush in, off I go, simple. Oh, nearly dropped that. Beautiful Skin Sun Kissed Glow Bronzer, and that's it there. I love the formula on this, but I just got it in so much of the wrong colour. It's so dark that I need a lighter shade, and then I think I can definitely use that more. That's the main thing stopping me, is that it's just so dark. I have to be so careful with it. So yeah. And then I have a Huda Tantor. This needs to go in the bin. This is old. In the shade Medium, but it is so dark. I also find this, it smells okay, really hard to use. So I think I need it in shade Light. But honestly, because it's at least 2 to 3 years old, the colour's wrong, and I don't like the formula so much. I think we're just going to say goodbye. Look at me doing a little cheeky declutter while I'm here. Yeah. Bye. Okay, that's it for the cream bronzers. I'll start off with I'll start off with 2 discontinued actually. So I have 2 Bare Minerals Invisible Bronze. I have it in Dark to Deep and in shade Tan. That's them there, so you can see they're slightly different undertones. They are beautiful. It is, in fact, a crime that these were discontinued. Beautiful satin formula, so I don't use them that much, but it's a crime. Oh, I've left out a contour. This is my KVD Shade and Light, but it's just a duo. I got it in a slightly dark shade, so I think that's just going to go in my kit. That is the Levitation and Subconscious, yeah. So that's going in my kit. And then I have a Bare Minerals loose bronzer in the shade Warmth. Really love this. They last forever, and if I'm doing my Bare Minerals foundation, I use this. Then I've got my number 7 bronzer in the shade Caramel. I really like this. Really, really like this. It's underrated in my opinion. I'm running out of space here, actually. And then I've got my Doll Beauty shade Medium bronzer. I like this, but it's a little gritty, so I'm not sure. It's not as smooth as I would like it to be. Then I've got my NARS in the shade Casino. Very well loved. There's a good dint in there. I think this will go into my Project Pan. I haven't picked a blush yet for my Project Pan. Then another one that I really love is my Huda Glow Wish Soft Radiance Bronzing Powder in Tan Light. And that's what it looks like there. Again, I love this for more softer glam, more of a natural day. And then my most used, unsurprisingly, absolute favourite of all time is my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer, and I use this in shade 3 Tan. That's what it looks like in there. I won't harp on about it too much because I've talked about it so many times, but it will always be a forever favourite of mine. Obviously they're not cheap, but I've had mine for well over a year now, and I use it nearly every single time I do my makeup, and it never steers me wrong. Sometimes I'll put my makeup on and I will think I don't like the bronzer that I've got on, and I'll pop that on and it kind of fixes everything. That's everything that I can like immediately put my hands on. Again, as I said, I've got stuff in my kit. I have stuff at my mum's. I've got stuff in my handbag as well. I've got stuff I'm getting for Christmas. I've got stuff in the post. Yeah, maybe I should do a video of if I could only keep 1 or only keep 5 or something like that. And yeah, go from there. Next video will be, I'm trying to put off eyeshadow palettes for as long as I possibly can, but I think lipsticks will be just as, I'm like thinking about it and I already have a headache. Anyway, yeah, so this is part 2. Do go check out my foundation one as well. I'll leave that linked down below and it'll come up at the end as well. Do you enjoy these videos? They are long. Anyway, let me know. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell if you've enjoyed the video and enjoyed me. Don't forget to go follow me over on Instagram. I'm a little bit more active over there and you can see a little bit more of my personal life, like photos of my husband on my stories, and a little bit more kind of in-depth looks is also from me. Comment down below, is there any surprising ones that I still have, or anything you think is, any holes in my collection that you think I need to try. I do have a P. Louise coming. I know I'm getting that for Christmas, and I have Rare Beauty on its way to me also. I know. Anyway, enough of me. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye.